Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Please do make sure to like and subscribe the video as it would help a lot. So, without further ado, let's get into the video.
This story is brought to us by Novo1123. Always trust your cat's instincts. Cats are weird, that's a fact I think we can all agree on. That's the first thing I thought when I found my cat, Ugly Becky, aka UB, standing really still in my bedroom. I watched him from my door a few seconds. He was breathing, as his long fur moving up and down indicated. A minute passed and he still didn't move an inch, remaining at the same position. Looking at the corner of the room, I glanced at it. Nothing. I thought it was maybe an insect, maybe he was on hunting mode. That would explain why he was as still as a statue. Yet another minute went by and he still didn't move. I called his name. He did not even move his ears. At this point, I got worried. Going into my room, I walked to him. There and then, I don't know what it was, maybe my instinct. More like a spider sense, but I felt it. The imminent danger, the need not to move. Halfway through my step I halted, becoming as motionless as my beloved pet. A few seconds later, I heard it, an eerie sound, the sound of someone whistling in the corner. It was simple, musical, something that I may have appreciated under different circumstances. But at this point, my body went into survival mode. My breath grew quieter and quieter. I knew without a doubt that if I was noticed, I would be done for. I heard my boyfriend going up the stairs calling my name. I tried yelling his name in my head, telling him to stop. Maybe with the power of love he would hear it. As he grew nearer, I prayed that he would see UB and I and feel the same thing as we did. From the corner of my eye, I saw him enter the room, noticing us, laughing, thinking we were playing, walking towards us, passing the point where UB stopped. And then, the whistling stopped. Finally, food. Everything went far too fast. I could not even describe to you what happened. I heard him cry, yell, beg, his bones crushing, the blood splashing, all of it under the span of 5 minutes. I wanted to move, to help him, yet I did not control my own body anymore. It was protecting itself, the mind being disconnected from everything. I felt it, walking near me, whistling a happier tune now, his breath smelling of sulfur, of death, of everything bad. You are smart. I can't see you. Lucky you. The meal was great this time. My knees gave out. UB started licking himself. I looked around. There was no blood, no bones, no boyfriend, no nothing. As the police would tell me later, maybe he ran away. They would keep an eye out for him. I needed more sleep. I was seeing things. Maybe I should see a therapist. They dismissed my experience as a bad trip. Nobody believed me. I started thinking that maybe I imagined things. That what happened 2 weeks ago was nothing but a bad dream. Until tonight. While I was reading stories on my phone, UB jumped under my cover, looking at me from beneath it with insistence. And I immediately understood. I covered us both from head to toe, tucking every corner of the cover so that not even air could come from the outside. Soon enough, I had the same feeling. However, this time I could move, breathe, talk even. I am writing this to you guys because I am terrified. I do not know what to do. I have been hiding under the covers for 2 hours now. 5 minutes ago, I felt the bed dip by my side. It talked to me again through its chuckles. I can be really patient when the meal is worth it. This next story was posted by Thron911. I'm hiding in the basement while the thing that replaced my wife is outside. It had been a week since my wife started acting strange. At first, I thought it was just stress from work or something. But as the days passed, her behavior became more and more peculiar. She would talk to the walls as if she was having a conversation with someone, and she would forget things that had just happened a few minutes earlier. I tried to dismiss it as nothing. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. I asked her if everything was okay, if there was anything she wanted to talk about, but she just brushed me off and said she was fine. One night, as I was laying in bed, I heard her talking in her sleep. It was a guttural and natural voice that sent chills down my spine. I woke her up, but she had no memory of what she had been saying. I tried to get her to see a doctor, but she refused, saying that there was nothing wrong with her, and I began to worry that something more sinister was at play. One night, as I was getting ready for bed, I noticed that she was standing in the corner of the room. eyes fixed on the wall. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. But she didn't seem to hear me. She just stood there, muttering to herself. I knew that something was terribly wrong. I knew that I had to find a way to help my wife, even if she refused to admit that there was a problem. But as the days passed and her behavior became more and more bizarre, I began to wonder if I was already too late. I couldn't shake the feeling that something evil had taken hold of her. I tried to keep a close eye on her, but she often wandered off on her own, muttering to herself and ignoring my calls to come back. As the days went on, her physical appearance began to change as well. Her skin became pale and clammy, and her eyes took on a dark, hollow appearance. She seemed to be losing weight at an alarming rate, and her once vibrant hair was now dull and lifeless. As her behavior became more and more erratic, I noticed other strange changes in the house as well. The birds and insects in the house began to behave oddly as well. The birds, which were usually so full of life, now sat motionless near the windows, their beady eyes fixed on us as if they were watching our every move. The insects were even worse. They seemed to be drawn to us, crawling all over our skin and then disappearing. I tried to brush them away, but they always came back, as if they were drawn to us like moths to a flame. One day, as I was working in the garden, I saw a shadow pass across the ground. I looked up and saw a group of crows gathered on the branches above me. They seemed to be watching my every move. Their eyes were cold and unblinking. I couldn't shake the feeling that something evil was at work here, that my wife and I were being watched and manipulated by forces beyond our understanding, and I knew that I had to do something as soon as possible before it gets much worse. As more days went on, the strangeness in my home only seemed to increase. Black twisted plants and mushrooms began to sprout from the walls and floors, their vines creeping across the surfaces like tentacles. The plants gave off a sickly sweet smell that made my head spin, and the mushrooms seemed to pulse with a dark, malevolent energy. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were alive, that they were watching me with malicious intent. I tried to get rid of the plants, but no matter how many I pulled, more seemed to take their place. It was as if the house itself was trying to consume us, to drag us down into its dark, twisted depths. I knew that I had to find a way to escape, but I couldn't leave my wife behind. She was still under the spell of whatever evil force was at work here. I couldn't bear to leave her alone in this nightmare. As I stood there, surrounded by the twisted plants and mushrooms, I noticed something strange on my hands. Black vines, thin and writhing like vines, seemed to be creeping across my skin. I froze in horror as I realized that the same evil force that had taken hold of my wife and the plants in the house was now taking hold of me as well. I could feel it pulsing through my veins, trying to consume me from the inside out. I knew that I had to find a way to break the spell, to rid myself of this darkness before it consumed me completely. But as the vines continued to spread across my skin, I kept thinking that it was already too late, that I was doomed to be consumed by this evil forever. Today, I decided to sit down and talk with her. "Listen," I started the conversation. "I don't know what's going on in this fucking house, but it's not normal. You're acting strange. There are fucking black plants and mushrooms growing from the concrete, and even the birds are watching me. I'm going crazy because of these insects constantly crawling on my skin like I was a smelly piece of shit. Please just tell me what's happening." "You couldn't understand this, Max," she said, looking at me. Her eyes were black. I couldn't move in my chair. I was scared. I felt like I was going to die at that moment. It's something far greater than you could imagine. It's so big we'll never understand this." "Never understand what?" "Everything is under the Supreme God's control." "Who the fuck is the Supreme God?" I raised my eyebrows. "Honey, you're an atheist." "He will turn us into something greater than humanity. We can't control this." Her voice became deeper with every sentence. I noticed a fresh scar near her ear, but instead of blood there was a black liquid in it. I showed her the black things on my hand. "What's this? Is it some kind of cancer?" I asked. "Yes. It will turn you into some dark, liquid matter that humanity doesn't know about. You can't escape it. That's how it is." "And how do you know about this? It was you who started this, or did the Supreme God find you?" "The Supreme God is so great he can't interact with us important beings. His servants, however, can. They'll turn us into something great. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. Humanity can't escape it. You, me, your mother, your father, your brother." "I don't have a brother," I interrupted her, quickly standing up from my chair. "My father is dead, and you? You're not my wife." She stood up too. It was not my wife. Someone or something was pretending to be my wife, and it opened its mouth, screaming. It was a terrifying scream. Her mouth opened much larger than human anatomy allows it. I prepared to die right there. Her face started to collapse, her arms became floppy, and the thing that looked like my wife slowly transformed into some unrecognizable, deformed black mass with multiple long arms coming out of it. Its head was horrifying. Somehow, my survival instincts kicked in, and I ran into the basement, then immediately closed the door behind me. I could see the black, fluid arms reaching under the door. I quickly sprinted downstairs, but now the insects are trying to crawl on me again. I found some bug spray, but it didn't kill them. I hear that thing's horrible screams from upstairs, and I'm writing this hoping that I could get some help, because I can't escape from here. Oh man, the black plants are here in the basement too, and the thing on my hand grows bigger, slowly covering my whole arm. I just hope my wife is okay, and that thing didn't kill her. If I can't make it alive, I hope at least she can. Shit, this fucking place is full of insects.